You've never heard of this highly nutritious food? And I don't say that lightly. Think about it for a second. How many times have we been told about superfoods, miracle vegetables, exotic fruits from faraway places? Kale, blueberries, chia, seeds, turmeric, they've all had their moment in the spotlight. But what if I told you there's a food so humble, so overlooked, so tucked away in the corners of traditional diets around the world, that it has barely made its way into the mainstream conversation in America, even though it could be one of the most powerful allies for your health after 50? It sounds shocking, doesn't it? Because by now you might feel like you've heard it all. Yet here we are, about to uncover something you've never heard of. And I guarantee by the end of this story, you'll wonder why it hasn't been part of your life all along. Before we dive into the science, let me take you back to a personal memory. I remember sitting at my grandmother's table when I was a child. She was a simple woman. No fancy cookbooks, no diet fads, just old-world wisdom passed down from her parents. She would always prepare these small, curious-looking bean-steiny, greenish-brown seeds that she soaked overnight, then simmered slowly until they turned soft and nutty. She would season them with nothing more than a pinch of salt, maybe a drizzle of oil, and yet they tasted earthy, satisfying, almost like comfort itself served in a bowl. At that time, I never paid much attention. It was just food. But decades later, after crossing 50 myself, dealing with stiff joints, rising cholesterol, and the creeping fatigue that seems to sneak into everyday life, I found myself searching for foods that didn't just fill me, but actually fueled me. And that's when I rediscovered what my grandmother had known all along, the mighty lentil. Now you might say, wait a second, lentils, I've heard of those. Sure, you might have heard the name, but how often have you eaten them? Be honest, lentils, something you cook once a week, once a month, or maybe once in a blue moon. In America, lentils are almost invisible in our everyday diets, especially compared to meat, potatoes, or even beans like black beans and pinto beans. But around the world, particularly in places where people live long, vibrant lives well into their 80s and 90s, lentils are a staple. The more I dug into the science, the more I realized this is the highly nutritious food we've never truly embraced, but desperately need to. Why? Let's start with something every person over 50 thinks about: protein. We all know how important protein is for maintaining muscle mass as we age. The problem is, so much of our protein comes from sources that bring baggage along. Meat with its saturated fat, processed meats with their sodium, and preservatives. Lentils, on the other hand, pack nearly as much protein as beef per serving, but with none of the cholesterol, none of the heavy fats that clog arteries. Just 1 cup of cooked lentils gives you about 18 grams of protein, plus a powerful dose of fiber that keeps your digestion smooth and your blood sugar steady. Let me pause here and ask you, how many times have you worried about your blood sugar creeping up? Or felt that sluggish crash after a carb-heavy meal? If you've ever been told you're pre-diabetic, or if you've struggled to control your appetite, lentils might be your secret weapon. Because unlike white bread or pasta, lentils digest slowly, releasing energy over time, keeping your blood sugar from spiking and your hunger under control. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. Research shows that diets rich in lentils can actually lower LDL cholesterol, the so-called bad cholesterol that builds plaque in arteries. For anyone over 50, that's not just trivia, that's life-saving information. But let's not stop at the science. Let's talk about real life. When I started incorporating lentils into my meals, just small steps at first, maybe swapping out half the meat in a stew with lentils, or making a simple lentil soup for lunch, changes. My energy felt steadier. My digestion improved in ways I didn't expect. I felt lighter after meals, not bogged down the way a heavy dinner can make you feel sluggish for hours. It wasn't dramatic like a magic pill, but it was consistent, reliable, like slowly shifting the foundation of my health in the right direction. And that's the beauty of it. Lentils are not flashy. They don't scream for attention. They just quietly nourish, day after day, meal after meal. Which makes me wonder, why haven't we embraced them the way other cultures have? Part of it, I think, is perception. In America, lentils are sometimes seen as poor man's food, or something too bland, too foreign. But isn't it ironic? It's the very food that has nourished civilizations for thousands of years, the food that has helped people live long, strong, is sitting on our grocery shelves for just a couple of dollars a pound, and we're ignoring it while spending fortunes on supplements, fad diets, and processed health foods that don't hold a candle to what lentils naturally provide. If you're listening right now and thinking, well, that sounds interesting, but I'm not sure how to start, let me reassure you. You don't need to change your entire diet overnight. Try adding lentils in simple, familiar ways. Make a hearty lentil soup with carrots, onions, and a sprinkle of herbs. Toss them into a salad for a protein boost. Cook them alongside rice, a combination that forms a complete protein, giving your body all the essential amino acids it needs, something many plant foods can't do alone. If you've ever worried that plant-based proteins are incomplete, lentils solve that puzzle when paired with grains. And here's another little secret. Lentils come in many varieties. Green lentils hold their shape well and are perfect for salads. Red lentils cook quickly, turning creamy and perfect for soups or stews. Black lentils, sometimes called beluga. Lentils have a rich, earthy flavor and pack an even higher dose of antioxidants. It's like a whole universe of nutrition hiding in plain sight, just waiting to be discovered. Now, I want to ask you directly, what do you think is stopping us from trying something new, even when it could change our health? Is it habit, comfort, or maybe just not knowing where to start? If you've ever felt stuck in the same food routine, let me know in the comments, because I'd love to hear what holds you back. And if you've tried lentils before, share your favorite way to cook them. You might inspire someone else watching this. You see, food isn't just about nutrients. It's about connection, memory, and possibility. When I cook lentils now, I'm not just nourishing my body. I'm reconnecting with my grandmother's wisdom, with generations before me who understood that health is built one meal at a time. It's not in a doctor's office, not in a pharmacy aisle, but in the kitchen, with simple ingredients that nature has already perfected. And that's where the twist comes in. Because when I tell you that you've never heard of this highly nutritious food, I don't just mean the name lentil. I mean you've never truly heard what they can do for you, how they can reshape your relationship with food, how they can quietly protect your heart, your blood sugar, your digestion, your energy, and even your wallet, because let's be honest, healthy eating can get expensive, but lentils are one of the most affordable superfoods on the planet. We often chase after the latest discovery, the exotic berry from the Amazon, the supplement extracted in a lab, thinking that the answer to our health must be complicated, rare, and expensive. But sometimes the real solution is right there in the humble foods we've overlooked. Lentils are not glamorous, they're not trendy, but they are powerful, proven, and waiting for us to rediscover them. So, here's my challenge to you. This week, buy a bag of lentils. Cook them once, just once. Taste them with an open mind, remembering that you are not just feeding yourself, you are investing in your strength, your vitality, your future. And if you do, I promise you'll start to feel the quiet magic they bring. Before we close, don't forget, if you found this story inspiring, if you learned something new, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss the next journey. We'll take together into foods and habits that truly transform life after 50. Leave a comment below about your experience, because your story might be the spark that helps someone else finally take that first step toward better health. And let me leave you with this final thought. The real treasures for our health are not always hidden in faraway lands. Sometimes they're right in front of us, waiting patiently for us to notice. Lentils have been there all along, sitting quietly on the shelf, underestimated, overlooked. But now that you know, the question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you walk past them again, or will you pick them up, bring them home, and let them become part of your story? The choice is yours, and it could be the simplest, most powerful choice you make for your health this year.